evening. Welcome to the Prime Time News. My name is Chula Chisha to present it. Today is the 31st of January 2022. Let's look at the headlining stories. Kalaba formally writes to ECZ to Speaker of National Assembly to overtake a leaked video. UPND Trevor Mwinde defends the party from socialist Kabwata attacks. PF acting vice president cries foul over ACC summon over proceeds. UPND Trevor Mwinde defends the party from socialist Kabwata attacks. GPZ tells government to reconsider its decision on Lower Zambezi National Park. Those are headlining stories. Let's take a look at the comprehensive news this evening on the Prime Time. Democratic Party DP President AFRICA-LITOVIA has written to the National Speaker of National Assembly, Nelly Muti, to constitute a committee to study the leaked video implicating the presidency in the international political party affairs of the DP. Mr. Kalaba says President Hakainde Hichilema has chosen silence over making a substantive over matter of governance. Speaking in an interview with Muvi TV News Monday morning, the DP leader says the party wants the Speaker to constitute a committee and determine whether his action of alleged interference in internal political matters of another political party is a breach of the Constitution.
Democratic Party DP leader AFRICA-LITOVIA has written the Speaker of the National Assembly Nelly Muti requesting her to constitute a committee to study the leaked audio suggesting involvement of the Office of the President in its internal affairs. In a short address to the media after delivering the letter at Parliament buildings on Monday morning, Mr. Kalaba claims President Hichilema's silence over the leaked audio is a mockery on governance.
Instead of making a very substantive point, I think it's a mockery to governance. We as DP are writing to the Speaker to see how well the Speaker can look at this matter and see if indeed the President has fallen short of one or two issues as regards the audio. So we would want the Speaker to constitute a committee to see if the President has breached the Constitution, and then within the framework of the Constitution we see if the President can be penalized.
Prior to the leaked audio, Mr. Kalaba held a press briefing accusing President Hakainde Hichilema through his political advisor, Levi Ngoma, of interfering in the DP's internal wrangles. For Muvi TV News, I'm AfDB in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Democratic Party DP Judith Kabemba-led faction has expressed disappointment on how the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) conducted itself through the Electoral Commission of Zambia Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano on a letter which was written to restrain Mr. Nshindano from allowing DP to contest in the Kabwata parliamentary by-elections. Speaking shortly after a court hearing at the Lusaka High Court ground, Judith Kabemba says the party is surprised as to why Mr. Nshindano allowed Precious Ndambu to sign the adoption certificate as Secretary General of DP when the matter is still in court. She says the Chief Registrar of Society clearly told Mr. Nshindano that there is a matter in court challenging who is a legitimate Secretary General of the party, hence allowing the DP to proceed with the filing in of nomination will be prejudicial.
Faction of the Democratic Party DP led by Vice President Judith Kabemba has expressed disappointment on how the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) carried itself through the Electoral Commission of Zambia Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano on a letter which was written to restrain Mr. Nshindano from allowing DP to contest in the Kabwata parliamentary by-elections. Speaking shortly after court hearing at the Lusaka High Court ground, Judith Kabemba alleged that the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ), by accepting Kalaba-appointed candidate Fred Muvanga, they had interfered in the High Court battle of who is the real DP between Kabemba faction and Kalaba faction.
Why did Mr. Nshindano in the first place copy that letter to Mr. Kalaba? Where did he get that mandate? Secondly, we are perturbed. We are perturbed as to why Mr. Nshindano had to allow a masquerade Secretary General to sign an adoption certificate, because the matters were in court. Like Mr. Nkonge has put, the matter of presidents is in court, the matter of Secretary General is in court. And the Chief Registrar of Societies clearly did a job by telling Mr. Shindano to say there is a matter in court challenging who is a legitimate Secretary General of the DP, and therefore allowing the DP to proceed with filing in of nominations will be prejudicial. It will be contempt of court. It will be tampering with the court process. But Mr. Shindano, in his own wisdom, which we don't understand, the court will help us interpret, decided to proceed in that manner.
And Party National Treasurer Justin Konge has charged that as a party they have confidence in the judiciary, as every time they have written to them, they always get a quick response.
The nation should know that there is an active case, the judicial review that is about to be allocated, and it has a time limit, because we are challenging the decision of ECZ accepting a nomination from Precious Intambu, who has joined the AFRICA-LITOVIA in masquerading as Secretary General of the party, while Sahari is masquerading as President of DP. So it has a time bound of 30. So we have been told and assured that it's an urgent matter and it will receive attention before the time lapses, so that we still deposit a lot of confidence in the judiciary. And I would like to state that for once, the judiciary is in safe hands.
Yes.
The setback that we might have suffered does not paint the judiciary bad.
No.
There are three organs of government. There is judiciary, there is the executive, and there is the legislature. So these three organs, they should operate independently. And so far I can report to the nation and assure you that the judiciary is in safe hands under the lordship Dr. Mumba Malila. Because the few times we've written letters from there, you'll be surprised on how speed the response would come back.
Evans Chilambwe, who was also at the court ground, has this to say.
And we have never held any convention or conference to vote or to elect a Secretary General since I was elected in 2004 to date. So it sounds so funny for these masqueraders to be going around demeaning my position. I'm the legitimate Secretary General of the now sweet Democratic Party.
Very sweet.
We are not in a hurry, we are not desperate people. We are just preserving the party for the common good of our citizens.
The rescheduled Kabwata by-elections, which was moved from 20th January to 3rd February 2022, is contested by 8 candidates, among them Socialist Party's Chikatungandu, United Party for National Development UPND's Andrew Kayengwa, Patriot Front PF's Clement Tembo, and EFF's Sylvia Tayali. Margaret Chota, Muvi TV News in Lusaka.
Patriotic Front PF acting president Given Luwinda was on Monday morning summoned by the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC head office in Lusaka for questioning over an alleged private loan he acquired in 2016 from a Chinese company. Speaking when he addressed journalists in Lusaka, Mr. Luwinda wondered why he was being questioned over a loan which was acquired by his firm from a private intern. He was accompanied by several members of the party. Mr. Luwinda has confirmed he has been warned and cautioned by the ACC against his will. More in the following report.
Opposition Patriotic Front PF acting president Given Luwinda made his first appearance at the Anti-Corruption Commission head office in Lusaka after receiving a summon. Mr. Luwinda, who is the immediate past former Minister of Justice, spoke to the media. After spending not less than 3 hours, he wondered why he would be summoned and questioned over a loan that his company acquired from a private bank.
As a law-abiding citizen, I decided to present myself, only to be told that the whole state machinery is investigating me on a matter on which my company borrowed money from another company. I wonder when for a person, a director of a company, to borrow money from another company. I wonder when this has become a corrupt matter. This harassment of PF shall not bring us to our knees. Instead, it's going to make us even stronger. Yes. We are not cowards. Arrest me. We are not cowards. Arrest me for my company borrowing. When my company borrows, is it your money? In the event that I fail to pay back the loan, it is not you who redeem me. I have to sell my own assets to redeem that loan.
And presidential PF hopeful Chishimba Kambwili, who accompanied Mr. Lubinda in his address, asked government to quickly put a stop to wasting taxpayers' money by arresting and harassing members of the opposition.
And escort our acting president on the basis of a loan, private loan that he got from a private institution, not government. Then somebody must resign on moral ground. I call upon the president to exercise his conscience and stop this wasting of public resources. Because even the SEC, to ask somebody over a loan that he got privately, is waste of resources. Because man hours is money. They are waiting to find out from people how they get a private loan.
Mr. Lubinda was accompanied by several senior party officials. By the time of this script, the Anti-Corruption Commission had not yet given full details of Mr. Lubinda's sermon and questioning. Diambela Mutumba, Muvi TV News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, the SEC spokesperson Queen Chiwia says Mr. Lubinda is in connection with the allegations of being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime.
The Corruption Commission has warned and cautioned Patriotic Front acting president Stephen Lubinda on allegations of corruption. Mr. Lubinda, aged 58, appeared before the ACC today in the company of his 3 lawyers and was warned and cautioned in connection with allegations of being in possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime, contrary to the laws of Zambia. Mr. Lubinda was summoned to the commission as a suspect, and all procedure relating to summoning of the suspect by an investigating agency was duly followed. Meanwhile, the Chipata High Court has convicted a procurement and supplies assistant at Petauke District Health Office and sentenced him to 2 years imprisonment with hard labor for corrupt practices involving 34,000 kwacha. This is in a matter where Patrick Ngandu, aged 39, was arrested by the ACC in November 2016, and he was actually charged with 1 count of corrupt acquisition of public property, which was contrary to Section 34, subsection 2 of the Anti-Corruption Act No. 3 of 2012. Details in this matter are that on unknown dates, but between 9th January 2013 and 19th April 2013 in Petauke District, Patrick Ngandu, being a procurement officer at Petauke District Community Health Office, willfully failed to comply with the Zambia Public Procurement Guidelines and the law relating to procurement when he facilitated the payment of 34,000 kwacha from the public revenue to Sakalimbwe Construction for his benefit. This was done even when Patrick Ngandwe knew that Sakalimbwe Construction had not been awarded any contract to construct an ART clinic at Nyanje Mission Hospital. The convict was first acquitted by Magistrate Jameson Ngona, sitting at Petauke Subordinate Court for 1 count of corrupt acquisition of public property. The Commission was dissatisfied with the acquittal and appealed to the High Court of Zambia, and the matter was heard by Justice Sharon Newa, who overturned the magistrate's decision and convicted the accused to 2 years imprisonment with hard labor effective 22nd December 2021.
Meanwhile, PF member Chano Dangwira has described the action by the SCC as a mere witch hunt aimed to silence the biggest opposition, PF, and its sympathizers. Mr. Chanoda says the Commission should carry out an introspection in the matter, or rather in the manner it is conducting itself. He adds that it is becoming a normal trend for PF leaders and its members to be appearing before the SCC on matters he has described as trivial.
The acting president, who is the vice president of the Patriotic Front, Honorable Given Lubinda, was summoned this morning to appear before the Anti-Corruption Commission on charges that alleged to be those relating to his company, a private company, having obtained a loan, from a private company. It's laughable in the sense that, you see, I think there are quite a number of things that this government is supposed to be focusing on and like focusing on issues to do with the summoning citizens who have got the rights, you know, to go to any institution, to go to any individual to get a loan in their individual capacities. Really, President Hakainde Hichilema has a lot of things that he promised to the Zambian people that he is supposed or he is yet to fulfill, though unfortunately he has backtracked on most of those. So indeed today we have reached a point where you cannot go or you cannot come to me to ask for a loan. Otherwise, the Anti-Corruption Commission is going to write Muvi TV seeking for your presence. And now the question comes in to say, where are we going as a country? If citizens would be stopped from borrowing money that is supposed to be plowed back into the economy, which economy Mr. Hakainde Hichilema promised to restore. Unfortunately, it seems he's not even restoring it. So I want to urge the Newborn government and President Hakainde Hichilema in particular to say, sir, I think you've got a lot.
We take a set of commercials. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Muvi TV. Enter the 12-digit smart card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Muvi TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay.
For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
They'll play a high press to force the mistakes.
They'll dominate the aerial ball. They too tall. We'll handle the pressure and smash them on the break.
The number 9 has scored in their last 5 games.
The passing will be quick, decisive, precisely. There will be drama in the dying minutes. This match will mean more than 3 points.
They will have the home ground advantage. This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
Betway.
The answer is yes.
Yes. She said yes.
Yes.
Yes. She said yes.
Chawama. Congrats, bro.
What? We'll be there.
Last Sunday of next month.
Ew, are you here?
You may give her the ring.
Everyone, say Tufi Life. Tufi Life.
One day, I'll give you the world.
Oh, you already have.
One expert. Anyone can get lucky.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's continue with the rest of the news. Ndola Central Member of Parliament Frank Tayali has called on the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, to come to the aid of Twapia residents who had their houses' roof blown off and partially destroyed due to the heavy rains over the weekend. Speaking when he visited the affected residents in Twapia Township on the Copperbelt, Mr. Tayali says some of the houses are no longer fit for human occupation as they may cause further harms to owners when the predicted weather goes in full swing. He adds the affected residents required urgent attention before the heavy rains do further damage to their properties.
This is in the Twapia area. We also have similar report for Chipulupusu. So we decided to do an on-the-spot check to see the state of these particular houses and the victims, and try and see how we can help them, because obviously the homes that we have seen have become a hazard. They are quite not fit for human occupation. And going by the weather reports and predictions, we may see more heavy rain falling. So I think that should that be the case, we may expect similar occurrences of other houses which may collapse, seeing as a lot of them are very, very weak indeed. So we want to quickly call upon the DMMU to come to the rescue of our fellow citizens and see how they can be helped, because obviously we need to move them to safer locations.
As you can see, we have passed through these houses. We have taken their names and the house numbers, and I'm taking these names to the DMMU, how to see how they help my people from Twapia Wat. Namwewa tunde miraya kutira. Na inewe inanga area councillor ndilo bulanda. Because kumwana maya ndefo yali. Na inewe ina insecurity. Tuwalalo ke shapu kuba responsible. Kweba tuwese watu wafuidishe. Kwa kutuwonse tuweke romanda tuwale ikalame kwa.
Environmentalist Robert Chimambo has expressed shock at the reported decision by government to allow mining activities in the lower Zambezi. Mr. Chimambo says it is surprising that the Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Collins Nzovu, has taken the decision over lower Zambezi lightly. Speaking in an interview with Muvi TV News, Mr. Chimambo says there is no benefit in opening a mine in a game management. He adds harnessing tourism in the lower Zambezi to benefit the local people is the way to go, other than opening a mine that will not benefit the locals in any way.
Mining in lower Zambezi is a non-starter. Let's find other ways. And the other way, in my view, tourism, wildlife is sustainable to feed the generation of our people, not mining. It's a wasting asset.
The news of mining going ahead in the lower Zambezi has been received with shock by environmentalist Robert Chimambo. The Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Collins Nzovu, is quoted in the media saying that mining will go ahead in the lower Zambezi with strict adherence to the guidelines by the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA. This comes on the backdrop of about 11 years of resistance from civil society organizations and Zambians on the setting up of a mine in the national park area. Reacting to the news, Mr. Chimambo says mining is not the answer to the needs of the local people in the lower Zambezi or the Zambians at large.
Environmental impact assessment which was done is long expired. So I don't know on the basis of the minister. There are still issues on all the necessary legislation there, mining, licenses, and the what's name itself. But also most important is that is an international river. When you start mining there, it will impact all the downstream countries, Malawi, Mozambique, etc. So I think that it's a wrong decision. I know it's a very wrong decision. The issue that has contentious there has been the beneficiation. In short, we have not benefited from the mines. If you go to Northwestern right now, copper, they've dug up. How much have we got from there?
He has urged Mr. Nzovu to consult widely before making a hasty decision.
Ndarama zimenewapanga in tourism has not benefited our people. That is what we should create, a wealth fund which should be going into this community bank where our people can now begin to benefit. Take some of that money and put in this constituent fund so that the people themselves are benefiting those animals. That is the key. It's not mining. Mining is nothing. They won't get anything. That is the issue there. So, Honorable Minister, consult broadly. Don't just pick and choose who to talk to. or my young man, the MP, I've had a discussion with him. Mining Kuni-based, Northwestern, go there. Just in 25 years, those guys have dug out all the copper and whatever they can and see how much are we getting. Nothing. So mining in Lower Zambezi is a non-starter. Let's find other ways. And the other way, in my view, tourism, wildlife is sustainable.
It is without doubt that the news of opening a mine in the Lower Zambezi has come as a shock to several civil society organizations and interested Zambians who opt for sound policies, especially on the Lower Zambezi and Forest 27. For Muvi TV News, I'm Afias Kaptula in Lusaka.
Golden Party of Zambia President Jackson Silavwe says government should exercise its powers and reverse the mining license of the Australian-based company, contrary to the court judgment by the High Court to allow open-pit mining in the Lower Zambezi. The opposition leader has since appealed to government through President Hakainde Hichilema to listen to the majority stakeholders and citizens on stopping the project and rather promote tourism and preserve the environment. He says looking at the current tax regime from the mining sector, tourism is more beneficial to the country in Lower Zambezi at the moment.
Zambia, we have noted the judgment of the courts of law regarding mining activities in the Lower Zambezi National Park. However, our view is that government, based on the Zema report, they have got every absolute right to cancel the mining project. And this is to preserve our environment and also looking at the current tax mining regime, where as a country we are not been getting, we've been getting peanuts. It's imperative that we reserve that mineral resource for future generations when we are ready to take over the mines, when we are ready to exploit the resource in our favor. At the current moment, it is more beneficial to have tourism compared to mining in Lower Zambezi National Park. And I must say that President Hakainde Hichilema, when he was in the opposition, he is on record mocking the PF that they were selling everything. Now it is incumbent upon him, being at the helm of government, to make the right decisions. Many stakeholders have spoken on this issue. Many citizens have spoken on this issue, that it is not in the best interest of the country to start mining activities in Lower Zambezi. So we want to enjoin ourselves to the many voices of stakeholders as well as many citizens to cease any mining activity in Lower Zambezi National Park. The minerals are ours. They are not going anywhere. Our grandchildren or our great-great-grandchildren can come and exploit them when we've exhausted ourselves with the tourism industry.
Meanwhile, PF member Chano Dangwira says government has wondered what has changed when most UPND members, including President Hakainde Hichilema, advised PF Edgar Lungu from issuing the mining license in Lower Zambezi. He says government has an obligation of doing what is correct in the interest of the public.
To say, sir, I think you've got a lot on your table. You've got, an urgent matter on your table right now that has to do with the Lower Zambezi, which, according to what we've read in the media and heard, is that the courts have allowed, the investor to mine in the Lower Zambezi. Firstly, I think you must have conscience as a Republican president, because when we look back, we see your tweets, we see your social media interactions, where you categorically stated that anyone who desires to sell the Lower Zambezi to any investor to do any activity, they are thieves. So we wonder that under your watch and under your government, that has been allowed, to happen. I'm not going to call you, sir, as a thief, because you are obviously not a thief. But I'm just referring to what you tweeted yourself and what you said on your social media platform.
United Party for National Development Deputy National Youth Chairperson in charge of politics and mobilization, Trevor Mwinde, has distanced his party youths from the reported attack on Socialist Party aspirant candidate for Kabwata parliamentary by-election, Trefa Ngandu. Mr. Mwinde says the said attack that has widely been shared on social media was staged, aimed at attracting attention. He was speaking during the press briefing Sunday morning.
We have also seen pockets of violence. We want to caution the people from the Socialist Party to stop running to the media whenever an incident occurs, to stop abusing the media because they have a media platform. We are well aware that the leader of the Socialist Party and his member of, aspiring member of parliament, Trefa Ngandu, they were involved in a violence around the ring road. Yes. And that violence is a stage-managed violence by provoking people deliberately. And we know he's on the record, firing guns at St. Patrick's Basic School in the previous general elections. He's on the record that he's a violent man. And if he wanted to push such an agenda, the president of this country says no to violence. You are on the record, you have beaten our women. We never retaliated, because he are candidate to the presidential. We have got strong youths in this party, and we are also strong youth leaders. So we have just followed the order so that everybody can flourish in an environment in line with the Christian values that which this country stands for. So we are going to an election, and we believe that as the United Party for National Development, we have done our homework. It is a carryover election where the same colors, the same people that were there today, we cannot believe it, that we have seen Comrade Given Lubinda coming out in the open as the president of the PF to start complaining that the roads in Kabwata are bad.
We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Presenting Mr. Money!
Airtel Money MasterCard is what I'm here to announce. Take it easy and shop online without a bank account. Spread the word when you promote your business online. Pay for ads, grow that hustle and see your business shine. Mr. Money, he knows it all. Mr. Money, he knows it all. Pay for a cab, TV subscription, shop and never stop. With Airtel Money MasterCard, just shop until you drop. Book a holiday, catch a movie, it's not that hard. Big and small, you're in charge with Airtel Money MasterCard. Introducing Airtel Money MasterCard. Shop online and do lots more. It's not a card, but works like one. Get one today from the Airtel Money menu. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Muvi TV. Enter the 12-digit smart card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Muvi TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay.
For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
On the pitch of life, you've got to choose your game and who you play with. Your people. You get what I mean?
Oh, that is so true, Mr. Easy.
Because when you need a bit of support, it's the people you can count on. People who are there for you, no matter what.
Guess we are always here for them.
Choose who to play with.
With Bet Power, you can touch, message, or call real people round the clock. This advertisement is brought to you by Bet Power.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the rest of the news. And of course, we get to the health segment. Minister of Health, Sylvia Masebo, says there has been an increase in the number of children getting infected with the coronavirus. So far, 276 children have died from COVID-19. Sylvia Masebo says the number is worrying, and in the last 24 hours, the country has recorded 125 new COVID-19 cases out of 1,938 tests conducted.
Zambia has experienced 4 COVID-19 waves since the virus was first detected in March 2020. To date, 276 children have succumbed to the disease, and of these deaths, 167 have been deaths among those aged 12 to 17 years. Minister of Health, Sylvia Masebo, says there has been an increase in the number of children getting infected.
Clearly, we have made significant progress in controlling COVID-19. However, the pandemic is not anywhere near over. We have observed an increasing number of children getting infected. Currently, children represent about 10% of all COVID-19 cases recorded in Zambia. Sadly, we have lost 276 children throughout the 4 COVID-19 waves.
It has been observed that COVID-19 symptoms appear on average about 6 days after exposure to the infection. And because of the generally mild nature of the disease in children, it can be hard to tell if your child has COVID-19. This is because there are other illnesses which present with similar symptoms, such as the flu or hay fever. Zambia is currently administering the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to children from the ages of 12 to 17.
It is important to acknowledge that children of all ages can get COVID-19 and experience its complications. Whilst children, just like adults, are as likely to get COVID-19, they usually are less likely to become severely ill, but yet still transmit the infection to others.
In the last 24 hours, the country has recorded 125 new COVID-19 cases out of 1,938 tests conducted countrywide, giving an overall national positivity of 6%.
Leaving 3,158 active cases nationwide. Of the current active cases, 69 are admitted to hospital, with 32 patients on oxygen therapy and 8 patients classified as critically ill. Of the admitted, 88% are unvaccinated patients.
Virginia Chilongo, Muvi TV News, Lusaka.
Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises, Elias Mubanga, has observed the need for people to seriously start taking up trade skills such as bricklaying and plumbing, as it is the only way Zambians can take up and make job opportunities. Speaking when he addressed the business community in Livingstone, Mr. Mbanga notes that job opportunities in the construction sector have for a long time been taken up by foreigners when Zambians are there to do the work. He states government will soon embark on construction of schools, clinics and markets, among other projects under CDF. Hence, citizens should be ready to take up these projects for them to have employment. Mr. Mbanga has promised SMEs that moving forward, no Zambian will be sidelined in conducting business which they can do or produce for the benefit of development of the country Zambia.
The Enterprise Minister Elias Mubanga has met with Livingstone business community to highlight the mandate of the new ministry. Top on the agenda in his address to the business community was the need for local businesses to be protected from unfair competition and make them thrive. Mr. Mubanga says government was strategic in coming up with the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise, which will ensure that issues that entrepreneurs face are addressed.
Plumbers, we will need carpenters, we will need bricklayers, electricians. Now, how are we going to build this nation? How are we going to build that school if people are not skilled? There is a gap just mentioned that for us to get proper carpenters, we have to go across. To get proper bricklayers, we need to go across. Why? Why? Do we really have to get to Zimbabwe and Botswana? If we need to get our own, they need to be substandard kind of construction works or a building.
The minister assured SMEs of government's commitment in ensuring that access to affordable loans and grants is actualized.
Needed to be identified with a politician for you to be given the empowerment. This is not, and get me clear, this is not in the line with the New Dawn government. The New Dawn government is for everyone. The New Dawn government is for everyone. That's why when we formed the government, we had to openly denounce the cadreism by His Excellency himself. This country's population is growing. And as it is growing, we also need to grow in terms of enterprise. The mind of the Zambian must be involved, must be quickened up. We have a president who is very enterprising, who is the chief marketing officer for this nation.
Moya Mkumbuta, Muvi TV News, Livingstone.
Home Affairs Minister Jack Mwimbo has called on police officers to be professional in the ruling of the affairs of the state. Mr. Mwimbo says what happened in the previous government must not happen in the New Dawn government, stating the UPND administration under the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema is working hard in seeing to it that peace of the country is restored. The minister was speaking in Monze district when he addressed police officers. Some concerned environmentalists have called mindset change among citizens in order for trading places to become more environmentally friendly, especially during rainy season. In an interview with Muvi TV News, Greenland Conversation Foundation Publicity Secretary Barbara Chivesa says some floods in Lusaka are caused by blocked drainages from disposal of plastic paper. She adds her organization will work hand in hand with local councils in all the 10 provinces in the monthly cleanup exercise.
Especially the garbages that come from our houses. You find that they dump them anywhere and the people passing around get affected. And another thing is that households are fond of dumping plastics, and these plastics block most of the drainages in Lusaka. And at the end of the day, we have stagnant water because water finds it difficult to pass. One of them is just stop dumping waste openly. Take care of your waste. Prepare a place where you can keep your waste. I'm sure the government has put in place. We thank the government because through the local governments, the council is helping in the picking of garbage. As Greenland Conservation Foundation, we have a lot of plans lined up this year. One of them is a campaign we were supposed to have in Livingstone, where we were supposed to go in communities, cleaning up communities. But due to the rainy season, this campaign has been disturbed, but we've moved it to a later date. And another thing is that us as Greenland Conservation Foundation, we're going to communities, we're sensitizing the communities on the dangers of dumping waste. I must make mention to say plastic is very, very, very dangerous to the environment. So as Greenland Conservation Foundation, we're teaching people on how they should take care of the plastics, most especially people that go to supermarkets. They have a lot of plastics that come from there. So why not keep a plastic that you bought, instead of getting another one the following day, you dump it, you're affecting the community and the environment. So keep a plastic, you go back with it, you buy again. You can by doing so, you can protect the environment. And another thing, we've come up with a program where we'll be recycling plastics, and this program will involve a lot of youth. So yeah, as Greenland Conservation, one of our main goals is to see people living in an environment that's clean and healthy. The common one is cholera, the other one is typhoid, and we have common flu. We also have a disease that affects children, the air flu. So yeah, 2018 we were struck by cholera. It was on the rise. So cholera is one of them.
We take a commercial break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned to your channel of choice.
The answer is yes.
Yes. She said yes. 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 She said yes.
Shawarma. Congrats, bro.
What? We'll be there.
Last Sunday of next month.
Ew, are you here?
You may give her the ring.
Everyone, say Tufi life.
Tufi life.
One day, I'll give you the world.
Oh, you already have.
We are delighted to add Lubumbashi and Goma to our network. Welcome aboard Rwandair, Africa's safest airline that will connect you to more than 24 destinations throughout the network.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Anyone can get lucky.
Welcome back. Some teachers from the Teachers Union of Zambia have petitioned 7 teachers unions to have them dissolved on basis that the said unions have failed to conduct workers' education members as enshrined in the Section 11, subsection 4 of Cap 269 of the laws of Zambia. Speaking on behalf of the teachers during the petition handed over on Monday morning to the Labour Commission's office, Mishek Makungu says teachers countrywide are no longer interested in dealing with the current office bearers of the 7 different teachers' union, among them namely Basic Education Teachers Union, Secondary Education Teachers Union, among others.
Commissioner's office to deliver a petition, a notice to the petition for the dissolution of all the teacher unions, the 7 of them. They have abrogated the labor laws and the labor act with impunity. One of the things that they have done is to be untransparent and undemocratic. When we talk of them not to be transparent, they are not accountable to the funds. We do contribute a 2%, which by law is supposed to be given a financial report to all the members to know how the funds were utilized. That is an head off. They don't do that. Further, teachers have a right to either belong by application to a union or not. But with whatever method they do use, they actually enroll these teachers against their consent. We have evidence to that effect to that. They have another opportunity to actually ensure that they conduct worker education on the part of the teachers so that they are enlightened on the labor laws. They never do that. And they have turned themselves into an ineffective way of operation of not engaging teachers whenever there are issues of bargaining. They are supposed, first of all, to get to all the roots, get the grievances of the teachers, and that's when they could go and present them. But that is never done. And as such, this is why teachers feel not to have a voice to represent them. And this marks actually the launch of the activities in all the districts countrywide, so that teachers look out and append their signature, so that we can actually define how we ought to be governed as teachers. As advocates for one teacher union, which is actually having representation in all the districts across the country, to put to a halt or to find an amicable situation where teachers can have a better representation and standing as one, and put a stop to all the movements that could be existing.
A concerned citizen has expressed worry at the low standard of aluminium roofing sheets sold on the market. Godfrey Simwinga says the Zambian roofing industry has tilted towards aluminium, with other forms being ignored with impunity. Many companies, especially those from China, took over the market with myriad standards that surprisingly defy logic and comparison. Mr. Simwinga wonder if the Zambia Bureau of Standards have enough micrometers to clean the mess.
That our country has accepted inferior standards when it comes to aluminium iron sheets. When I moved around, most of the companies are selling 0.5 millimeters, but the actual millimeters is 0.3. And some of these companies are taking advantage because of the gullibility of most Zambians, where they accept anything. Gone are the days when you are roofing your house, you can actually literally walk on 0.5 millimeters. But now it's impossible to walk on 0.5 because you end up having problems. That is why most of the houses in our country are collapsing, and most of the iron sheets are bending just like it's just a pack of paper.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Stanley Kakubo has commended the Africa Development Bank for its continuous support in developmental projects in the country. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka, Mr. Kakubo says government has assured the bank trade will be enhanced within the region as a matter of priority. He has also urged the bank to continue with the support and collaboration implemented within the ministry.
Stanley Kakubo has commended the Africa Development Bank country manager Rabu Durohunju for supporting the government through along in the achievement of developmental projects in the country. Speaking at a media press briefing Monday morning, he says it is a marvel to fit in as the government to ensure that trade is enhanced in the region, and has thanked the bank for their collaboration within the ministry.
The African Development Bank has supported us a lot in water recirculation projects. We still have a huge deficit there. You may have noticed that in recent weeks, one of the key announcements that have been made to the President is his emphasis on employing more teachers to be deployed in the rural areas. And that comes with a lot of demand on the Zambian government, and of course on our budget, to ensure that infrastructure is provided for new teachers. Also for health personnel, about 12,000 will be deployed this year alone. And that also again fits into some of the partnerships that we have had before. When infrastructure is done, water recirculation will be needed. Sanitation issues are also key to ensure that development is taken to those areas. My office, Ministry of Finance, looks forward to working very closely with the Africa Development Bank. This is we want to assure you of our utmost support, and we operate on an open door policy, and we are here to collaborate with you and to ensure that with your stay in Zambia, all opportunities that are possible for us to explore and to collaborate on together must be actualized. So welcome to Zambia.
Meanwhile, the Africa Development Bank country manager, Rabu Durohunju, has handed over his credentials to the ministry with highest considerations as a way to also thank the esteemed ministry for maintaining their partnership. Caroline Mwanza, reporting for Muvi TV News, Lusaka.
The National Pension Scheme Authority Director General Yolande Kachinga says NAPSA plans to partner with Livingstone Golf Association with an aim of redeveloping the golf course in the city to an international standard. Speaking in Livingstone recently, Kachinga notes that the upcoming new Mosi Otunya resort in Livingstone is expected to attract more foreign tourists who may be interested in playing golf as part of their vacation stay. He explains that Zambia as a club has been missing out in hosting international golf tournaments due to poor infrastructure, hence revamping Livingstone Golf Course will enable the country have an advantage to host the international golf tours.
Is one of the oldest sports, and the National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA says plans are underway to redevelop the Livingstone Golf Course to an international standard. NAPSA Director General Yolande Kachinda said this when Minister of Labour Brenda Tambatamba toured Livingstone Golf Club.
International events, but unfortunately Zambia does not have facilities that can bring all these golfers from across the world. They pack their bags and say we are going to Zambia to play golf. I think in the golf world, the professional golfers, for them it's the whole year it's blocked with calendars. They move from country to country. But for us, unfortunately, that has not been happening. Our colleagues across have to host that. Even when it is our location, we have to give it up. So I think it is only in Kana Golf Club, which is developed to that level. On the countryside, obviously that's a different chapter. Here we are in a different chapter.
NAPSA Director General says the plan is to lower international golf tournaments to be hosted in the country.
The proposal has been given to us that we consider still partnering with the Livingstone Golf Association to see how we can redevelop this. Now the link is, if our hotel is able to, as a package, to host these tournaments, obviously the professional golfers will come, stay at our hotel.
That's a business case.
That's the business case. They will come and stay at our hotel, leave the dollars.
Definitely it's a win-win, because then those people who come even to holiday, they come for leisure, they come for leisure. And as a side event, if a facility like this could be provided, beyond just watching the Victoria Falls, it would add value that these people also come and relax by playing golf, and also the tournaments are good. So that in itself, the payment made, and I think that then goes down to ultimately the beneficiary as an investment. So as and when they want to give their benefit.
Muyam Kumbuta, Muvi TV News, Livingstone.
Calabar formally writes to Speaker of National Assembly over leaked video. PF acting Vice President cries foul over ACC summon of proceeds. UPND Trevor Mwinde defends the party from socialist Kabwata attacks. And GPZ tells government to reconsider its decision on Lower Zambezi National Park. Those were our headlining stories for this particular evening's prime time news. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Chola Chisha, and of course we have our next news update at 10:15. Keep watching the channel of choice. Good evening.